Shalom, Shalum, and welcome, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to Yashar'al End-time Individual Decisions. My name is Symmanayah, and this is the 7th installment. Its focus, or its title, is the cost of weights and measures. Before I begin, let me say this, my brothers and sisters. As we see the decline in governance as we once knew it, and I'm not saying it was better or worse, but I am saying as we see the most obvious of wickedness amongst our leaders, amongst our government, amongst our clergy, and or any other outspoken entity that influences our lives, as we see this spreads, it's making this walk, this journey even more challenging. And I believe this is so because we are closer to the end than many believe. And as I was pondering, my brothers and sisters, I must admit, to some degrees, I find myself being stressed over the need to communicate better. Not only myself, but us, one towards another, communicate with more clarity, with more precision, what the Most High would have us to do. And as I became stressed on the challenge of being a participant in or even demonstrating better communications, I found myself looking and saying to myself, at the age that I am, and to some, I may be an elder and old, approaching 60. To some, I may be a young man still. But I say this, I find myself saying that this is why some people have heart attacks and strokes, because they become so stressed over things and stuff. I find myself in prayer seeking to discern how to understand this experience that is before me. And what's amazing, it was as though the Spirit of Yahusha was saying, remember, the flesh war against the spirit, and it will do so in many ways. Now, some people might say heart attacks and strokes, it's about diet. It's just about diet. But I submit to you, I believe that our mental state, our psychological and mental state, can also contribute, since it is indeed part of the flesh. It can contribute towards our demise if we let it, if we allow it. But each day I visit within my spirit and mind Deuteronomy 8:3, knowing that man doesn't live by bread alone, but every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Almighty Father. With that said, my brothers and sisters, I will say to you this: I know of no other direction to turn but to continue to pursue the will of the Almighty Father, to seek, to discern, to worship and obey Him. With that said, let's get started in this 7th installment. The cost of weights and measure. I say to you again, Shalom and welcome. From the smallest to the largest institutions, we are discovering lies and deceptions all about us. As we are awakened to the set-apart truth of the Almighty Father Yahuah, we find within our school systems, our households, our institutions, even our jobs, the challenge of trying to discern what is indeed set apart, what is indeed righteous. We find that from a mental or practical or natural state that the airways are being clouded, so to speak, or that the communication ways are being compromised, with everyone believing that they are right. Soon, and very soon, my brothers and sisters, we will discover the living presence of the Almighty Father Yahuah through His set-apart Spirit sent in Yahusha's name. And He will prove that through Yahusha's Spirit, we will witness our teacher, our comforter, our guide, provide so much more for his set-apart children. He will equip us with the strength and fortitude of everything we need to press closer into him as end times become intense. Please be advised, my brothers and sisters, wickedness comes in many faces as well as in different packages. In this installment, I am compelled to warn and instruct an awakening nation as to why we must and will return to the basics. I will present strongholds that we find ourselves being delivered from, or in other words, freed from. Strongholds that can be labeled as weights and measures, some of which we may not even be aware of. But before I go any further, allow me to share with you the following. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. Come and read with me, O Yasharal. It says as follows: futility, futility, says Koheleth. Futility, futility, all is futile. What does a man gain from all his labor in which he toils under the sun? A generation passes away, and a generation comes, but the earth stands forever. Now, for some of you, you may be reading from different translations, for we do know they exist. That was from the Institute of Scriptural Research, or what's commonly known as the Scriptures version. Let me also read the King James Version of Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 2 through 4. It reads as follows: Vanity of vanities, says the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. What profit has a man of all his labor, which he taketh under the sun? One generation passes away, and another generation comes, but the earth abideth forever. My brothers and sisters, yes, I presented two distinct translations regarding this passage. The one I just read, and it was for us to realize that these coming days, we will discover the things that are vain, not necessary, as we find ourselves being stripped of all the things we thought we needed. We will return to the basics of Yasharal. If you are one who have studied or examined any part of end-time prophecy, specifically things that are written in Revelation, you will know that in death and destruction, we will not have all the convenience still with us. As earthquakes in diverse places, as wars break out, as famine and pestilence enlarge, our priorities will be to survive. As climate change and global warming increases, as conditions on this planet deteriorate even more, our focus will be on survival. And I am compelled to believe, as we are awakened to the truth, there are many people who are waking up. There are many people who are being delivered from false religions, false teachings and practices and behaviors. And we will find that in such deliverance, the cost of weights and measures are high. We will find ourselves coming away from, leaving, releasing such things. Let me also read the following. Ecclesiastes 1:18. Ecclesiastes 1:18. It reads as follows: For in much wisdom is much grief, and he who increases in knowledge increases in suffering. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, as we begin to learn and understand set-apartness, some of that suffering will be realizing we don't need the things we think we need. We don't have to have the things that we possess or desire to possess, thinking that these weights and measures, that such things will make life so much better for us. Increasing in suffering would be knowing what sacrifices are necessary for us to find ourselves walking in obedience to the Most High. Let me also read Luke chapter 12, verse 42 through 48. Come with me, my brothers and sisters, and read with me Luke chapter 12, verse 42 to 48. It reads as follows. And the master said, who then is the trustworthy and wise manager whom his master shall appoint over his household to give the portion of food in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his master shall find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you that he shall appoint him over all his possessions. But if that servant says in his heart, my master is delaying his coming, and begins to beat the male servants and female servants, and to eat and drink and be drunk, the master of that servant shall come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour that he does not know, and shall cut him in two, and appoint his portions with the unbelievers. And that servant who knew his master's desires and did not prepare, nor did according to his desire, shall be beaten with many stripes. My brothers and sisters, it's talking about the burdens, those who are over us, employers, bosses, those who are not walking in obedience, but are impacting our lives, that's putting burdens on us that should not be. My brothers and sisters, it's talking about the need to be wise in how we treat one another. But let me go on to the 48th verse. It says, but he who did not know, yet did what deserved flogging, shall be beaten with few. Now here's the caveat. Here's the emphasis out of all that I've just read in Luke 12:42-48. It says, and to whom much has been entrusted from him, much shall be asked. So in the things that we acquire, the things that we find ourselves in possession of, we have a responsibility. If it's wicked, it needs to be trashed. It needs to be removed. If it's set apart, it needs to be acknowledged and contributed to the body for the building of unity and set apartness. Yes, too much has been entrusted, much shall be asked. Are we prepared, my brothers and sisters, to identify the cost of weights and measures, to make the right decisions? Yashar'al, oh Yasharal, we have grown into an age of many conveniences under the guise or image of innovation and progress. We have become attached to our technology and convenience with many echoing words like, I don't know what I would have done without these things. The world has even introduced to us the words smart devices or smart home. They have also introduced the words artificial intelligence or AI, with the push that makes one believe that machines are becoming alive. Don't be deceived, my brothers and sisters. Smart devices or artificial intelligence. Remember, my brothers and sisters, someone had to create these things. Someone had to make them. Someone had to program them. It took materials that someone had to mine and construct or make. So is the device really smart by itself? Is it really artificial intelligence? I took a class once, many classes, dealing with technology and information. And I took years ago during the infancy stage of artificial intelligence, seeing how it was basically a move to collectively gather the thoughts and data from people and their experiences, and take our experiences and data and information and put it into a machine as designed by the programmer to bring about decisions. At one point, artificial intelligence was known as decision support systems, but that keyword, those keywords have become antiquated. The world wants us to believe that smart devices and AI is the way to go. And I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, Yahusha Mashyach, the Spirit of the Most High, is the way to go. So let us be mindful, my brothers and sisters, as end times become intense, the days are coming when we will discern. We will recognize the cost of weights and measures. We will recognize the need to let go. Now you may wonder, what make you think that the Most High wants us to go to the basics? Are we not entering into one of the strongest battles we've ever faced as we enter these final days? Did the Most High give us any inclination that he chose individuals who were able to release distractions and get right down to the basics? If you doubt, let me just share with you a portion of Judges chapter 7, verse 2 through 7. Judges chapter 7, verse 2 through 7. Come and read with me, O Yashar'al. Come read with me, awakening body of set-apartness. Judges 7th chapter, verses 2 through 7. And Yahuwah said to Gideon, the people who are with you are too many for me to give Midian into their hands. Lest Yashar'al boast against me, saying, my own hand has saved me. And now proclaim in the hearing of the people, saying, whoever is afraid and trembling, let him turn back and leave Mount Gilead. And 22,000 of the people turned back, while 10,000 remained. And Yahuwah said to Gideon, the people are still too many. Bring them down to the water, and let me prove them for you there. And it shall be that of whom I say to you, this one goes with you, let him go with you. And of whomever I say to you, this one does not go with you, let him not go. So he brought the people down to the water, and Yahuwah said to Gideon, everyone who laps the water with his tongue, as a dog laps, separate him from everyone who bows down on his knees to drink. In other words, my brothers and sisters, it's as though he said, those who just get right to the water and start drinking it, versus those who want to look pretty and perform and get on their knees and go through a ritual of drinking. Separate these. Let me go on to say, verse 6, and the number of those who lapped up, putting their hands to their mouth, was 300 men, and all the rest of the people bowed down on their knees to drink water. And Yahuwah said to Gideon, by the 300 men who lapped, I save you, and shall give Midian into your hand. Let all the other people go, and each to his place. I say to you, O Yashar'al, is not the word of Yahuwah, the scriptures, also akin to water? Is not the ones lapping up the water at the river, were they not more concerned with getting the life in the water, opposed to going through the processes of being pretty or performing or looking like a Pharisee before they can deliver or do what they were supposed to do? You see, my brothers and sisters, the basics. Even in the last days, my brothers and sisters, it is written that the two witnesses of Revelation will come in sackcloth. Didn't say they would be pretty and dressed in gold, silver, or embroidered garments. It says sackcloth. My brothers and sisters, we're in the last days. Could it not be that the demonstration we saw at Gideon, where the Most High chose those who went straight for the water, could it not be similar to today? Could it be, and will it be? I think so. I think that those who will rise up among the remnant of the called out ones from the power and might and the strength of Yahuwah, through his set-apart spirit sent in Yahusha's name, will be those who care and come to grow to know the importance of his word, his water, his direction, his living orders and instructions. Now remember, O Yashar'al, while many people say the remnant is going to just be a tiny number, But yet so many people say that with belief that they would be in the remnant. I say once again, and I've said it on many occasions, the gathering from the four corners of the earth of a set-apart nation, the rise of the 12 tribes of Yasharal, and the great multitude will prove to be in the numbers of millions. Yes, millions, maybe even tens of millions. And they will indeed represent a remnant. You see, my brothers and sisters, if you compare tens of millions to over 7.4 billion people, that is less than 1%. That is a fraction of representation. That is a remnant when you compare such numbers to the entire population. The cost of weights and measures. There are things to let go. There are things to embrace. Let's move down. 7th chapter of Judges. Let's move down to verse 21 through 23. Still in the 7th chapter of Judges. It says, and each stood in his place round about the camp, and all the army ran and cried out and fled. And the 300 blew the ram's horn, and Yahuwah set the sword of each one against the other throughout all the camp, and the army fled to Beth Shittah, towards Serarah, as far as the border of Abal Mahola by Tabath. And the men of Yasharal were called from Naphtali and from Asher and from Manasseh, and pursued Midian. My brothers and sisters, I present to you the 300 were successful. The 300 accomplished what they were ordered to do. And just as we saw those who went and lapped up the water as dogs, who went for the word in the simplest of form, we will witness discipline like never before. We will witness a demonstration of those who can release the strongholds, those who can discern the cost of weights and measures and release and let go of what needs to be let go. As end times become intense, I present to you, my brothers and sisters, revisit Judges 7th chapter and ask yourselves, let us discuss among each other, what is it that we need to release? What is it that we need to let go? Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, we have been taught all too often that as we receive things, this represents a blessing or favor from the Almighty Yahuah. Yes, Abba Yahuah does provide us with favor and things all too often. But be alert. Let us be mindful. Let us be discerning. For in our craving for things, for stuff, for weights and for measures, in our cravings for more, all too often we become distracted and become void of examining what is indeed from the Most High Father Yahuah versus what is a gift from Satan. It would be wise to realize that as we have grown accustomed to things, stuff, of which I have no doubt represents the cost of weights and measure, as we have grown accustomed to, it's going to be difficult for us to let go. It's going to be even painful. My brothers and sisters, gifts can be, not all the time, gifts can be a result of favor, but gifts can also be a cataclysmic distraction, a fatal distraction that can lead to death, that can lead to sorrow, that can lead to much pain and regret. My brothers and sisters, gifts can be akin to a drug, with us wanting more, bigger, better, faster. If you doubt these words, take a look. Look at technology. Look at the flat TV screen craze. People are now actually putting 75-inch televisions on their walls. I find myself also being attracted to these larger screen TVs. So I'm not pointing the finger without being guilty myself. We have become attracted. And I don't have a 75-inch TV, I'll tell you that. But whether it's 65 or 60 or 50, I remember a time when it was good. It was a luxury to have a 25-inch floor model TV with color. Yeah, that shows my age. But let us look, my brothers and sisters, even you who are young, even those who are younger. I'm young still, approaching 60. I praise Yahusha. I'm Mashyach. I praise the Almighty Father for the years I've had. But I want to say this, whether you're younger, you can still see how technology has changed. Look at cell phones, look at computers, look at cars. Look at the things we use to accomplish the task in life. I say to you, O Yashar'al, we will return to the basics. So let the discussions begin, how life will be changed. Let us prepare to adapt and adjust. My brothers and sisters, it's not a matter of will we let go. Those who are called and chosen, those who are ordered by the Almighty Father will indeed let go. It's just a matter of time before the discipline, the refinement of the Almighty Father. It's just a matter of time before we see his promises of discipline come to his children, those whom he loves. It's just a matter of time before we see his vengeance towards those who have done ill to his innocent. It's just a matter of time before we see his wrath ramp up across the face of this earth. My brothers and sisters, letting go. There are things we must get rid of. We must come away from. There are people even we must find ourselves walking away from. In other words, my brothers and sisters, we face some of the most difficult challenges ahead, but they will come to be. Yes, it's hard, and we will discover for some people it's just too much to release what they have. Who is aware of the life in the following? Matthew 19th chapter. Many of you may be aware of this, but let me bring your attention. Let us revisit Matthew 19th chapter verses 21 through 24. It reads as follows. Yahusha said to him, if you wish to be perfect, go sell what you have and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. And when the young man heard the word, he went away sad because he had many possessions. And Yahusha said to his taught ones, truly I say to you, that it is hard for a rich man to enter into the reigns of the heavens. And again, I say to you, it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the reign of heaven. My brothers and sisters, many of us will look and say, I'm not rich. But sometimes wealth is in the eyes of the beholder. Sometimes the possessions that you have, one may believe you're rich. I had a crew. I recently went through a transition of moving. And there was a crew that was moving some purchased items into the house. And the gentleman said, you rich people. And by no means was I moving into a castle. It was a newly constructed home. But from my vantage point, it was not big. Matter of fact, it's on a slab, a concrete slab. But from his vantage point, he said, you rich people. And I say to you, my brothers and sisters, though my Isha, my wife, and I may have some possessions, though there are some people that may think we're rich, we're not by far. So I too am in the audience, in the ranks of those who must prepare to release all this stuff. I too must grow to understand the dynamics of the cost of these weights and measures. I too, with me and my household and others of Yasharal, we must discern what is indeed a result of favor from the Most High versus what is a distraction. Let us never get to the point where we hold on so strongly to material things. I believe that Shaul made a statement about knowing when to abound and when to be a base. Let's see here. And I may be, bear with me for a second. Philippians 4:12. Come visit with me. Philippians 4:12. Here Shaul says, I know what it is to be humbled, and I know what it is to have in excess. In any and every situation, I have learned both to be filled and to be hungry, both to have in excess and to be in need. Now, I'm not going to elaborate too much on being humbled, but I want to say something. Many people think being humbled is weak and passive. Humble is having the strength to bring our flesh and our own wisdom into subjection to what is indeed true. Humble is putting our egos in check and yielding to what is right, what is set apart. But here I want to just bring to mind where Shaul said, I know when to receive and when to release. I know when to be hungry and when to have access. My brothers and sisters, let us examine ourselves. Let us take a hard look and prepare for the greatest release of things that we have grown so accustomed to. Prepare to witness life in the following passages like probably never before. And I say never before because keep in mind, never have there been this many people on the planet. Never have there been the approach of the final days of man as we know it. So hear these words, O Yasharal, and revisit these verses. Romans 12:1 says, I call upon you, therefore, brothers, through the compassion of the Almighty One, to present your bodies a living offering, set apart, well-pleasing to the Almighty One, your reasonable worship. So first and foremost, we will know what it is to give ourselves unto the Most High, to present ourselves a living sacrifice, a living offering to Him. We will know what the meaning of 1 Corinthians 15:31 is like never before. It reads as follows, I affirm by the boasting in you which I have in Messiah, Yahusha, our Master, I die day by day. We will know what that means in the coming of days, if not already. It will get intense. That meaning will get intense as we find end times. We will know what it means by Hebrews 12:11. And indeed, no discipline seems pleasant at the time, but grievous. But afterwards it yields the peaceable fruit of righteousness to those who have been trained by it. My brothers and sisters, it is time to begin discussing, preparing and praying to let go. Prepare to let go of people and stuff and things. Prepare to discern the cost of weights and measures and know what to keep versus what to release and when to release, when to embrace. Allow me to present also these words, O Yasharal, Ephesians 5:17 through 21. Ephesians 5:17 through 21. It reads as follows. So then, do not be foolish, but understand what the desire of Yahuah is. Do not be drunk with wine, in which is loose behavior, but be filled with the Spirit, speaking to each other in psalms and songs of praise and spiritual songs, singing and striking strings in your heart to the Master, giving thanks always for all to the Almighty One, the Father, in the name of our Master Yahusha Messiah, subjecting yourselves to each other in the fear of the Almighty One. You see, my brothers and sisters, as vessels, or some may say temples, of the Most High, as His servants, He works through us, in us, one towards another. And that's what it means by subjecting yourselves one to one another, yielding to when the spirit of set-apartness is working in us one towards another. So there will be times He will speak through you, He may be speaking through me. We will speak to one another, one towards another, and we will witness His Spirit flowing. We will witness and understand that we are indeed a dwelling place of the Most High. If you doubt these words, O Yasharal, come and discern the life in the following passage. 1 Corinthians 3:16. It reads as follows. Do you not know that you are a dwelling place of the Almighty One, and that the Spirit of the Almighty One dwells in you? My brothers and sisters, the days are coming. The days are coming, as I mentioned often, where we will be forced to move. Forced migrations will come, and we will witness as these things begin. For some, it has already. We will know the costs associated with weights and measures, the cost of having things that are weighing us down, the cost of so much, the measures of stuff, the quantity of things. And we will know what to let go, when to let go, and we will let go. I'm compelled to believe that I've begun to see movement. And I believe that movement will reach the doorsteps of everyone physically alive. While the words wants versus needs are being merged into one thought of desire or lust, we will find ourselves pressed with identifying living orders that would help us to identify what indeed is a need versus a want. We will discover all that is necessary to fulfill the final exodus, the final task that the Most High has given each and every one of us, whether in the ranks of the final exodus or not. Let our prayers and discussions be instrumental in establishing wise decisions as we face the removal of the things that are unnecessary, the coming away from things and or people. Let us prepare ourselves, O Yasharal. Let us demonstrate to one another, as well as let us witness and acknowledge our abilities to discern what is fruitful versus what is unfruitful in our lives. My brothers and sisters, I am compelled to believe that this installment of Yashar'al End-time Individual Decisions, which again is entitled The Cost of Weights and Measure, will prove to contribute to our preparation for what's to come. We will adapt. We will adjust, my brothers and sisters. We will move into obedience to the set-apart instructions and orders of the Almighty Father Yahuah, through his set-apart Spirit sent in Yahusha's name. Let us remember, my brothers and sisters, let us remember Galatians chapter 1, verse 1 through 5. Let us seek to discern the life in this passage. It reads as follows. Shalum, an emissary, not from men, nor by a man, but by Yahusha Messiah, and the Almighty One, the Father, who raised him from the dead, and all the brothers who are with me, to the assemblies of Galatia. Favor to you and peace from the Almighty, the Father of our Master Yahusha Messiah, who gave himself for our sins to deliver. Nope, not a broken record, but emphasizing, to deliver us out from this present wicked age, according to the desire of our Almighty One and Father, to whom be the praise forever and ever. Amen. Deliverance comes. Deliverance have come. Day by day, we will understand what it is to be delivered. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 6. What I just read at first was Galatians 1, verse 1 through 5. Now I want to read 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 6. It reads as follows. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not fight according to the flesh. For the weapons we fight with are not fleshly, but mighty in Almighty One for overthrowing strongholds, overthrowing reasonings, and every high matter that exalts itself against the knowledge of the Almighty One, taking captive every thought to make it obedient to the Messiah. Make it obedient to the Messiah. And being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is complete. My brothers and sisters, there are no doubt in my mind that each of us have been exposed to teachings regarding many different passages. And I believe we can read it over and over and over, and we will find that we get something new out of reading it again and again. Something will be added to it. We will come to discover why the Mashyach said that his word will never thirst with his word. So I submit to you, when the scriptures are made alive by the living words of the Almighty Father, we can get something else out of it and something else again. It could be like getting a fresh glass of water, but they will be connected. They should not conflict. So when you get something more and more and more out of a single passage of scripture that connects, this fulfills what the Mashyach was saying. Now, if they contradict and conflict, something is wrong. Wickedness has creeped in. My brothers and sisters, as I close, I say to you, be encouraged. Be encouraged, O Yasharal, set-apart Yashar'al. We who are drawn by the Almighty Father Yahuah. We who are in our worship and obedience, lift up Yahusha Mashyach and witness him drawing all men to himself, finding that there is indeed the intersection where we all come together. Referencing John 12:32. Be encouraged, O Yashar'al, our redemption draws near. It is nearer than we can imagine. I end with emphasizing again the importance of recognizing the cost of weights and measures, with the need to discern what must be kept versus release. Let us prepare the one in the mirror, as well as contribute to the support to one another during these great transitional days ahead, during these days of sacrifice, during these days of release and letting go, during these days of preparation for the physical return of Yahusha Mashyach, during these days when we anticipate and expect movement for many of us, the final exodus, gathered to that promised land, gathered to that place of safety and to the physical return. Sure, all of us desire to be in the ranks of those of the final exodus. And one could say we do not fully know. And one could say, no, I feel, I believe, I'm compelled within my spirit, I will be among those ranks. But either us, either me, either you, or a descendant, someone else that is also a seed of Abraham, we know these words will be fulfilled. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, my prayers go out to each and every one of you. I truly pray for your health. I pray that we grow in discernment and wisdom. I pray for strength and fortitude as we transition into the discipline, set apart individual we must be, set apart nation we must be. I pray, O Yashar'al, for truly the time is now to awake and grow into the tasks that the Most High has designed for us. Until next time, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.